So at one point, I had this video fully edited, recorded, finished, ready to go out for the main channel. It was called Earth's Best Art, an opinion piece. And as the title suggests, it was literally just me talking about all my favorite art for like 15, 20 minutes. And I decided not to release it because, well, one, I didn't really love how it came out. I tried doing it without a script, and that was before I'd been recording all of this, so I wasn't really too great at doing that. But also because I was just like, this is just me kind of rambling about stuff that I like. My all-time favorite art pieces, things that I'm really into. This could be anything. Like, I was like, I don't really think people need to see a highly done-up 20-minute version of this, when knowing that I had Paint&Talk on the way, where it was like I could just come here and chit-chat about that, if you will. So that's what I want to do today. I think also it's better because, like, so often your favorite art, like, we all have those things that we love that are like our all-time favorites, right? But I think right next to that we have a ton of things that are just like, what do we like right now? Like, if you ask me what I'd rather talk about, my all-time favorite albums or albums that I'm really listening to right now, I'm gonna most of the time say albums that I'm listening to right now, because it's like I've talked about my favorites. I really want to just talk about what I'm into right now. And I think that's why this format works even better. I can just talk about what I've been listening to. And starting off with albums, actually, I've been really into this album. It's an old French pop album from, I want to say, 65. I'm totally gonna butcher this guy's name because I'm not French. Wish I was. Love the French. Shout out French people. But it's Christophe. He has this great album called Aline. He has this great album called Christophe. His name's Christophe, but the album's called that. The title track is Aline. It's actually, I think, a pretty famous song. I know it's his most listened to on Apple Music, so I'm gonna guess maybe it's his it's a pretty popular thing. And oh my god, is this album amazing. I think if I could figure out how to get around, like, restrictions with YouTube, I think I'm gonna use it to soundtrack a video coming up in like May, probably. Because I think it's just so good at doing like one of the reasons I love Dark Fantasy by Kanye. Not a good time to be talking about Kanye, but one of the reasons I love that album is because it's so epic. Like, it has like a bunch of people going like, oh, all the time. Like, I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for very cinematic music that also you can listen to without a movie, Like, I love the soundtrack of movies, but it's like I'm not gonna sit down and listen to the Avengers Endgame soundtrack right now. Like, that's just not something I really do personally. So I've always been on the lookout for albums like that, where it's like, this is a very cinematic album. And this album really scratches that itch. I mean, like, it is just, if you guys could go listen to the title track, first 15 seconds of it, some of the most beautiful music ever. I think it's also, like, out of my, I think I'm enjoying it a lot because it's very much out of my wheelhouse. When it comes to, like, books, not really movies, mainly books, sometimes paintings, I am somebody where, like, I'm pretty deep in, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a casual person with those things, but when it comes to, music, I'm very casual. Like, I'm not somebody who's gonna show you the most indie album ever. I think my most listened to artist last year was like Kendrick Lamar or Weezer or something like that. Like, I like rap, a ton of pop, classic rock, punk, pop rock, like things like that. Like, I'm into that stuff. And you're never gonna see me be like, here's a really deep cut album. This is from what I understand, for me at least, this is a fairly deep cut album, and I think that's why I'm really enjoying it too, because it's one of those times where it feels like I'm broadening my horizons quite a bit, which I think we can all relate to, that being a nice feeling, of like, I'm doing something that's unique right now. I'm seeing something I wouldn't otherwise see. Isn't that kind of half the appeal of traveling, right? Where it's like, this is a Like, I'm seeing a new thing. I think you can do that within music too. And that's what I'm feeling from this album. I found it, though, this was the point of this, I found it from the movie The French Dispatch by Wes Anderson. I watched that movie recently when I was traveling. I watched it half on a plane, and then I got to my friend's apartment, and I threw it on the TV because we weren't doing anything. And during, like, The French Dispatch is this movie where it's the last issue of a magazine called The French Dispatch, and it's just going over all the stories in it. Amazing movie. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. You guys can go check out my Letterboxd review of that, now that I link my Letterboxd anywhere, but if you happen across it, go check that out. It's pretty cool. And at one point during the short story about the students having an uprising at this university, Timothée Chalamet's character walks over to a jukebox and he plays the first 15 seconds of Aline. And it like, I was traveling that day, and I had to leave at like 4 a.m., so I was really tired, but like, I stood up when I heard that. Not stood up, like, no, when you're like, this is crazy. You're like kind of like nodding off, like you're watching a movie, but you're like, because you're half watching it. I did like a full locked in because of that scene with the music. I thought it was really insane. And wow, it was something. I also have been trying to watch more movies. That's another thing I want to talk about. That was my New Year's resolution. A lot of people are like, that's a waste of a New Year's resolution. To me, though, like, a New Year's resolution is almost like, this is something I know I'm probably not gonna do, so I'm gonna just like, it's like something I want to do though. Like, that's always the way I've looked at them. I just feel like I have things I want to do in 2025. Like, I have goals for this year, but like, I'm gonna do those. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like my New Year's resolution would not be to paint 365 canvases and do a series called Paint&Talk on YouTube, because that's just like obvious. Like, yeah, that's like being like, I'm gonna try and get a promotion this year for my New Year's resolution. It's like, you should already be working on that, you know? Like, that's not something to throw into the wind. I don't know, maybe it's just my own thing, but my New Year's resolution was to watch more movies, because I love movies. Like, you could show me the worst movie ever and I will be moved. I'm just somebody like that, where it's like, I'm just a big fan of the medium. I love how perfect they are at just like being a 2 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour thing, and it's like you start and you're satisfied by the end. I think that's so cool, because like, nowadays everything's either short form, or for me, since I read a lot of books, it's really long form, where it's like, because I read a book over the course of 2 weeks, you know, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna be satisfied by the end of these 2 weeks. I think a movie is perfect, where it's like, I'm satisfied by the end of these 2 hours. That's the perfect amount of time, right? This is crazy. This is like a, you know, random guy discovers movies for the first time. But that's why I've been trying to watch more of them, because it's like, 2 hours is also the perfect amount of time that I don't have. I've never once in my life been like, okay, I have 2 hours to kill right now. It's either I got 10 minutes to kill, I got 30 minutes to kill, or I got an evening to kill. And if I got an evening to kill, I'm gonna do something bigger than a movie. If I got 10 minutes to kill, I'm throwing on a YouTube video, or maybe just gonna like doodle in my sketchbook. You know, like, I'm not gonna be doing a whole movie. With that being said, that's why I made my New Year's resolution, because I was like, I totally could fit these in. And another movie that I watched recently, also while I was away, some of my friends went to the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, and I sat back with my friend and had a movie night where we watched Harakiri. And I wanted to watch it because it was the top-rated movie on Letterboxd. And some people really don't like these platforms that are like all about reviewing, like Rate Your Music is one of them. I'm not on that, but like, people are really haters of these platforms. I do think, like, the average guy on Letterboxd probably has taste that's a little more highbrow than me, to be honest. I do feel that. However, the one thing I will say about a lot of these things that are like critically acclaimed or you know, loved by these groups of people that are maybe more, you know, what some people would consider pretentious, when they like something, like when everybody goes like, no, this is amazing, usually it's really good. Like, I'm a big fan of going to a platform like that and just going like, okay, what's the best thing? What does everybody agree is really great? And I go into that and I'll watch it or I'll listen, you know. And usually I do see like, okay, this is really cool. This is something special, you know? And harakiri, I don't know why I put on that terrible Japanese accent when trying to say that. Harakiri, yeah, back to my white guy accent, was insane. The plot of the movie is this, it's a peacetime in Japan, so all the samurai who are now master ronin are going to this place and being like, oh, I'm out of a job, can you throw me a bone? But they're not saying that because that'd be like against their honor. So they're going like, can I commit seppuku in your yard? Because I guess you gotta do it in like a place of samurai-dom. I don't really know the culture enough to say that for sure, but there's something where you gotta do it there. So they're saying that just in hopes that they'll be like, don't commit seppuku. We'll give you $20 so you can survive and head back out, right? And this samurai goes, and I don't want to reveal the plot of the movie, but he shows up to this place, and the whole movie is just him talking before he's about to commit seppuku. That's the entire movie. It's him telling stories about his days where he's down on his luck, and his relation to another samurai. That's all I want to say, because I think any more would genuinely spoil it. It is the most intense thing. My friend who I put it on for is somebody who's not really into movies like that. Like he'll watch them, he likes them, but he's not somebody who's like gonna be like, I'm gonna go on Letterboxd and review a movie. He'll watch whatever's on, right? He's one of those guys. So at first I was a little scared, you know, because I was like, oh, like, you guys know the worst feeling on earth is when you throw on a movie for somebody and they just don't like it, and you gotta sit there as they try to like act like they like it. That's just the worst thing on earth. And I was like, oh my God, this is about to go that way. I was stunned by how he was just hunched over, locked into this movie, and he loved it. He really, we were talking about it the next day too, like he was really into it, and I was like, okay, to me that was like, this is like something, this is a special movie, like this is insane. Because it's like, that level of undeniability, I've talked about this before, but like that level of undeniability is something I just really, I think is so cool. You know, it's the most impressive to me when somebody, whether it's an artist or you know, a team of artists, like when you make a movie, can make something that is so undeniably amazing that no matter the audience, they go, yeah, no, this is great. This is something really good. That is like the most impressive thing to me. And that's probably like, to be honest, as I think about it more, right? Because I am somebody who's a little bit more ambitious, right? Like I do think some people like, they're like, I just want to chill and make stuff. Other people like myself, I am somebody where it's like, I want to make something amazing one day. And I think like, it's hard to quantify a goal with art, right? Because it's so, you know, if I were to say I want to make the best painting, what does that mean, right? So I think my goal, the more I think about it and the more I consume more art, is genuinely just to make something that has that undeniability. If one day I could be good enough that I could paint something like a Guernica by Picasso, where everyone looks at it and they go, that's something cool, or a Starry Night by Van Gogh. And I mean, I'm naming these because they're the most famous paintings, but I know so many paintings where like I'll be in the Met with my friends and I'll be like, guys, look at this one. And like everyone's just like, this is sick. Whether they like abstract art, whether they don't like it. Like if I could just make something that is really just that good that everyone's like, this is cool, that's probably like my end goal. And I say that as I'm painting a terrible castle right now. So I do feel the need to emphasize that's my end goal in 20 to 30 years. Like not this year, not this month or this week, but in my lifetime, that's definitely my goal, is to like make something that cool. Whether maybe writing it too. Speaking of writing and reading, I've been reading Dr. Futurity by Philip K. Dick. I've been wanting to read, you guys might know if you've been watching a while, I struggle reading fiction, because, I don't know, I'm so much better at reading like things that are nonfiction, and I've been trying to get better at that for a while now, through like reading books that are easier, or, you know, reading books I'm interested in that are fiction, like really forcing myself to, because I know I do believe, well, not believe, I know because I've done it with other things, like I could get better at it. It's just more so about putting that time in, you know? And something I especially struggle with is science fiction, because not only do I have to imagine things, I have to imagine a whole other world now. And like, they'll use words that are just so foreign to me that it's like, what does that mean, you know? And then you lose track of one word in the book, and it's like, you don't understand what's going on now, and then you feel lost. It's a whole thing, like, it's a whole process. So trying to get into more science fiction, I was like, let's read some Philip K. Dick. He made, famously, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the inspiration behind the Blade Runner movies. I don't know if it's the inspiration behind 2049. I just know it's the inspiration behind the original one. And I was like, okay, this is probably a good author to start with. He's got lots of books. I love me a short book, to be honest, so I picked out a short one. I just went to the Strand, and I picked out the shortest one I could find, which was Doctor Futurity. I was like, let's just start with this, because I think, too, when I'm getting into an author, sometimes I overthink what I should start with, because it's like, I don't know, I just do. Like, Ernest Hemingway took me so long to settle on The Sun Also Rises as the first book to read by him. And I was like, let's just do this in the most arbitrary way, just pick the shortest thing here. So I picked that. Really great so far. The only thing, and this is something I discover about myself more as I consume more, is I'm terrible at distinguishing high and low things. Like, I've also read, science fiction-wise, a lot of old pulp novels, right? I'm a huge fan of them. I think it's really cool to go read, like, the dime novels from the 40s or the 60s. They're very dated, but I just think it's cool. I think they're a cool thing. And they also have, at the Strand, this whole, what's the thing where it's like a spinning rack? A rack? A kiosk? Is it a kiosk? I don't know. They have one of those, though. And it has rare pulp novels on it. So I really like just spending some time going through that rack, literally just picking out whatever looks cool on the cover, because they're $5 a piece, why not? And I read those. Oftentimes they're sci-fi. Philip K. Dick was writing in around the same period, so I guess maybe that's why. But I genuinely, personally, cannot separate one of his books and his writing style so far from a Doc Savage book. And I think maybe part of that is, like, they share many of the aesthetic similarities. You know, a lot of people in the 60s, 40s, 50s, whatever time, were writing about very utopian things. Like, the science fiction now, it's interesting. I feel like, I was watching something where they said, like, the way that science fiction writers look at the future is interesting, and it has changed through time, and it changes based on what we feel about our present. You know, like, if we feel like things are getting really bad, there's going to be a lot of dystopias written. Where if, like, we think there's a great potential going on in the world around us, there's going to be a lot of utopian stories written. And the 50s through the... I'd say more like the 40s through the mid-60s, very utopian. Like, they're utopian through and through. It's every story is somebody going to a new society where they feel that they have a better way of doing things. Now it's a lot more dystopias, I feel. If just, you know, I don't really have any evidence. I don't want to watch that much sci-fi, but I feel like I'm seeing more dystopian stuff now. And maybe it's because of that period that I can't tell, but that's something I'm really thinking about a lot, is like, I'm terrible at telling when something is supposed to be amazing or when something is like, this is mid, you know? I guess it's not really I mean, like, you know, some things are undeniable. Like, going back to Harakiri. Like, I watched that and I'm like, okay, no, I completely understand why they say this is the best thing ever made. But then I go to other things, such as these books, and it's like, Philip K. Dick is supposed to be one of the best sci-fi writers. Shouldn't I get a little bit more of this? Shouldn't I be like, I'm enjoying it a ton, but I'm enjoying it in the same way I understand those pulp novels. And I'm like, isn't this supposed to be highbrow sci-fi? Like, why do I view it the same way that I'm viewing this other thing? So I don't know. I think it genuinely could just be me, though. I don't have a good compass, thermometer, scale. Like, I'm a bad judge of that. And that's with everything. That's with, like, food too. Like, me and my friends will go to, like, a nice sushi place, like the type of sushi place where it's like $20 and you get like three pieces, and it's like, this sucks. And I genuinely cannot tell the difference between that and just like Sam's Club store-bought sushi. Like, I cannot. I'm terrible at it. It's a repeated pattern with me where, like, I just can't. I'm a terrible judge of things. I think it's cool too, though. Or personally, I like it for myself because it's like, now I get to enjoy so many more things. Like, if I was somebody who was like a letterboxed guy that was really like, oh, I don't see the value in this movie, or like, this is bad, and like I was a very harsh good critic of things, then like I'd enjoy so much less, right? I do like being an idiot because it's like I get to enjoy everything now. Like, I watch a dumb comedy from the 90s and I'm like, this is just as good as The Godfather to me. And I think that's cool. But also, me being like somebody who likes to think of themselves as somebody who's more artistic, I am like it makes me feel like a fraud sometimes, because it's like, shouldn't I be better at this? Like, shouldn't I be more pretentious? Shouldn't I be a better judge of things? So, I don't know. That's just a little crisis I've been having in relation to the art I consume and enjoy. But Dr. Futurity by Philip K. Dick, to get back to the book we were talking about, I'm enjoying it a lot. I think it's really good. The painting is finished, right? We gotta talk about this painting. I think there was a point in here, and I know I'm gonna look at it when I'm going back and editing this, where this was, whoa, how'd that black get all over my hand? Is there black on my face right now? There's probably black on my face right now. That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. Wait, when did that happen? Like, when did I just touch all that black paint? That's insane. Okay, moving on. I know I'm gonna go back and edit this, and at like the, maybe the 10-minute mark or something, like, that looks much better, as I always do. And I definitely did go overboard doing too much push and pull. A good first practice, though. I am, as terrible as this looks, I'm satisfied with this. This is my first time trying a structure. I think I should start with the cube of a building, though. Maybe I'll try and actually paint, like, the Empire State or something like that. No, because even that is, like, kind of, has points and stuff. Maybe I'll try, like, the One World Trade Center or something. I don't know. What buildings are good, guys? Give me a building to paint. I think I should try that next, just to get some form, some shading down. But overall, for a first practice, I'm not disappointed in this. So go check this out over on the Instagram. And until next time, oh wait, oh my God, comment what art you've been liking down below. I completely forgot to do that. Yeah. Until next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint Talk episode 88. I'm here every morning painting and talking with you all. Gotta wash my hands.